Hey, Maboika, Ituno, Kina, Atiaono. Welcome, my brothers and sisters. Greetings, Rahubat. Um, Assalamu alaikum, Shalom aleika, all those wonderful greetings. You know what I'm saying? I greet you um, because I really, want everybody to know that I'm doing pretty well, you know, and wow, what some crazy time we're having. I didn't go live during the Halloween, even though I did prepare some notes on Halloween and the Dia de los Muertos, which is celebrated in Latin America. But then I don't want to give credence to that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even though there's nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? It's more than what than what we know. You know what I'm saying? Because of customs and through time, these customs lose a little bit of its originality. Really what it really means. And same things happen with this political thing, man. I mean, Biden is close to a victory. So last I heard, Biden's very close to a victory. And now, you got the Trump administration and his campaign running to the courts now. You know what I'm saying? This is a strategic, a tactic that is used in politics. Remember, politics is the science of winning control of the government. So they want to control this government. They want to control this debt of where these debt notes are going to be allocated, and and moving the country in a different direction. But we all know that underneath the line, it's the same system. Doesn't matter right wing, left wing, the right, the Republican, the Democrat. It's the same system. And behind the system, there are stakeholders, and these stakeholders already determine what they want for this country. 50 to 60 years ahead of time. They already laid out the plan. Right now, they're trying to roll in the fourth industrial revolution where they got everybody thinking about Republicans. Excuse me, here I am again. Republicans and Democrats. We got everybody with this political dogma and doctrine, got everybody just all over the place, delusional. You know what I'm saying? And but behind the scene, when you pull back the curtains, there is certain initiative that is being rolled out. You got technology, you got the fourth industrial revolution, which is the AI of things. You got the 5G rolling out every day. I got problems with my connection because they're always updating and things are happening. So the technology is moving up, and even politics. You know, I've been studying a lot about blockchain technology because this is another area which I want to head towards. And I'm learning a lot about, the future. You can see where the future is heading with this technology and how it's going to break down. It's going to disrupt a lot of industry. So look out for that. It's going to disrupt a lot of industry. We got like, I say 9 years or 10 years before you see it in full operational. You know what I'm saying? And so we got to be prepared. Learn as much as you can about this cryptocurrency, learn about what you can, try to be up on it, you know, and watch out for the stock market, but try to devil get it a little bit into stock markets and forex and stuff like that. It's interesting. It's like being in a casino. If you got enough money that you want to go to a casino and bet here, bet there, and some people are good at that. They know how to make the money. They know how to distribute. They know how to take what they have and what I learned about that is that the greedy people don't get nowhere when it comes to stocks. It's all a technique, a tactic, and being patient with that particular industry, which is the stock exchange, the New York Stock Exchange or the International Exchange, and all. Blockchain technology is going to disrupt all of that. It's going to disrupt all of that. So those that are studying blockchain technology now and are getting ahead of the curve, you know what I'm saying? And so, it's interesting time that we're living because, And it's like, it's going to determine what's the next 9 years going to look like. You know what I'm saying? We haven't really felt the impact that this administration, Trump administration, done to us really until, we're not going to feel that until years from now, maybe 4 years from now. Biden's job is going to try to dismantle that and put everything back, you know, the Democrats, and put everything the way they want to see it back in order with the United Nations. You see, Trump made a lot of enemies, worldwide enemies, you know what I'm saying? Didn't realize that, hey, behind the scene, these multi-billionaires, not just you, these other multi-billionaires, they're controlling the narrative. They're controlling everything that's going on in terms of world market. They are issuing back, they're issuing this fourth industrial revolution. You know what I'm saying? You're just a speck of the old world. You know what I'm saying? That old world. So it's very interesting, you know. So it's not, you know, they're just hinting that Biden is very close to victory. I think when I left the room, he was at 253 and he needs 270 electoral votes. And Trump was, you know, not there yet. I think he was 212. But anyway, I don't want to speak too much about this politics. I just want to do an introduction about the Heart Energy Center. Remember again, what am I doing? What are we doing? Is we're shining our awareness. We're shining our awareness and consciousness, which is awareness, the energy, flow energy, on certain seeds that are representative of certain natural abilities or natural nature, you know, human nature or natural nature that we have. You know what I'm saying? And that is very, very important to know, is that when you start shining this conscious awareness on certain parts of the seed, which is mental, but on these seeds, you start analyzing and you start, you know, revving up that electromagnetic power that you need. I definitely need it. You know, I've come from a, you know, lost a lot of energy, you know what I'm saying, from being hospitalized. But they don't teach this in schools, you know, of learning about spirituality. They kind of like, spooked it out. You know what I'm saying? Spooky. Spirituality, remember, spiritual means it akin to attitude and outcome. Spirit, or the breath in things, is you putting your character and your personality to that particular thing. So that's what spirit is. So when you're a spirited person, you have this personality and this character. A bad spirit, you have a bad character and personality. A good spirit, you have a good personality and character. You know. Then you have the enlightened self, is that creativity. You know what I'm saying? Of, you know, because again, you know, I've done it already. I've gone into podcasts, which you really gotta listen to some of that stuff. You know, listen to it and tell me what you think. You know what I'm saying? I think that I go in, you know, and my sensing, my ability to sense, make this common sense, and to put into order these energy center. Put it into an order so you can put your life into order and you can put your spirit into it. You know what I'm saying? So real quickly, when you shine your awareness on the star energy center, and you shine that awareness on that, you connect to the source, which is the sun, in terms of this body and the spiritual self, the enlightened self. You connect to the sun and the electromagnetic forces that we have. You connect to that. You know what I'm saying? What can stop you from connecting totally into that? Dogma and doctrine. Political dogma, philosophical dogma, all these doctrines, religious doctrine, a lot of that deters you from the main concentration in our lives is for us to connect to the source, the sun, because that's connected to the multiverse, just like every insect and every animal connected with the multiverse, and they moving. Everything is so connected, the macrocosm in the micro, macrocosm in the microcosm. Everything is so connected. And these are what sages and enlightened people have spoken about. Very enlightened people have spoken about this. So in this star energy center, when we put our awareness to it, we see that it connects us to the source. And we start learning about archetypes. We start learning about karma. We start healing those karma wounds. We start learning about the archetype and how that affects who we are. You know what I'm saying? The source of it. So there's electromagnetic forces. And that can be, again, it casts a light, a shadow. The moon entity will be the dogma and the doctrine. When you come down to the crown, the corona, the crown, it's 1,000 petals. It's like a dish, right? And what it does, it harnesses the electromagnetic forces, right? And create this magnetism. It's more heavily into magnetism. You center yourself, and now you make certain choices. It gives you this cosmic energy, because once you receive this electromagnetic force, you receive those cosmic energy from that electromagnetic spectrum. That's when we put our awareness into this crown energy center. We start seeing it. It casts a shadow, and that shadow is ego attachment. And we have to be careful, because once you connect with the cosmic and you see the multiverse, and you start thinking that you're as big as the multiverse, because you know that that's part of you and you part of it, and you're seeing it. What it does, it creates an ego, and you have to check it, because it creates an ego attachment. It's a light that's casting, like the sun casts this light on the moon. So you got moon energy and sun energy. So when that sun energy casts this moon energy, this onto that energy, casts that shadow, you have this ego. Now there's a way to balance that. We have spoken about that in some of the podcasts. And walk through a library or go to the beach and at the night, or look at the beach or be out in that ocean. You get to see the cosmic energy. Also with telescope, looking at the constellations and seeing this cosmic energy. That's cosmic energy, right? We go down to the brow. They call the third eye, or some say the first eye. And this is where intuition comes in, right? Insight. This is your insight brow. So these electromagnetic forces create an insight, because it activates, it charges up your optic nerves. You have these optic nerve, your eyeballs, optic nerve behind it, and also the pineal gland. And also, so this energy center works in the same way. When we put our awareness to it, we're seeing that it's casting a shadow of illusion. That's the shadow self, because it's the mental, and how you can elude your mentality can be eluded. And some people become delusional. You know what I'm saying? It's all connected with the dogma and doctrine, connected with your ego. And this is a shadow self, and it's connected illusions, right? So when we put our awareness into this particular energy center, we see that we start, intuitive sensing comes into play. You know what I'm saying? Imagination, which is part of creativity. The creativity is the enlightened self. So the insight you're going to have is the creativity insight, you know. And so this insight creates your intuitive sensing, your sense of let me go back into my notes. Let me pull it up. Sorry. I mean, just think about it, you know, when it's activated, this pineal gland, it connects you with other beings, you know. Let me bring it up. I'm sorry. You know. And by the way, I'm having a wonderful experience. Everything seems to be working out beautifully. I mean, you know, you got the goods and bad, but I take it all. I'm not afraid of it all. You know what I'm saying? There's a saying in Spanish: when the sky gives you lemon, learn how to make lemonade, right? You know. And so, let me pull this up for a minute. Sorry, I got many notes here. But anyway, in terms of the comedic science, right? So we're talking about the brow. One thing I forgot to tell you that the star energy center is your sustenance. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the sun, you know, your sustenance. Your crown energy center, that's where your ascension happens, right? Your ascension, you start ascending. Now your brow energy center is where you gain revelation. Things are revealed to you, your insight, right? For your perception, your vision, your devotion, it's your fidelity, and there's high magic. You know, you're learning about illusion because casting a shadow self with illusion. You're learning about high magic, sacred love. You know, your insight on what is sacred love, mysticism, and drawing aside from the veil. Okay, so so in the brow you have your intuition and your higher intellect. You know, this is where it's harnessed at. This is, and the shadow that it casts is again illusions, eluding your body. You start balancing your intellect with your intuition, and that's important. You know what I'm saying? You can elude yourself if you go too much into intuition and don't see that there is a balance with intellect. It can lead you more into an illusion. So you have to be very careful with that. So open up your mind. In this center, you open up your mind. You're trusting your intuitive insight because you're balancing it with your intellect. You're developing a creative imagination and ability to visualize. So this is where the visualization comes in. Dreaming, what they call remote viewing. A lot of skills come in by dealing with this particular energy center, you know. And in terms of natural nature, we imagine creativity. We perceive things, right? We become devoted, you know. We open up to certain ideas and thoughts that we wouldn't have known. So this is where all this happened at this energy center. You know what I'm saying? The throat, again, your resonance. Are you resonating this one? When you put your awareness, again, your consciousness, your awareness into this particular energy center, right? You put your awareness, this energy flows into this energy center. You start learning about time. You know what I'm saying? You become a scribe. You know, this was your journal, things happen. It's communication, will, expression, and choice. Speech, writing, measurements. You know what I'm saying? This is where if you resonate. What do you resonate? You know what I'm saying? A good thing is for you to learn how to resonate is keep a journal and see what are your thoughts every day. What are you resonating? Because by knowing what you resonate also lets you be aware of how other people are going to perceive you. You know what I'm saying? You know, and my resonance a little off, you know, and I'm appearing to be this or that. I need to know as I got to see what's really inside of me. What communication what am I harnessing? What communication is that? So, you know, So when you put your energy into it, you learn how to speak your truth. Again, it casts a shadow of lies. And you know what lies, falsehood, are pieces of fragmented information, pieces that doesn't fit together. The truth is those pieces fitting perfectly together. That's the way I have imagined it. That's the way I've learned it through the nature of nature. I mean, I'm quoting the nature of nature here. A series of books, because I told you, I research everything and I try to put those pieces together, saying, and also try to play chess, saying, by intuitive, So you resonate, the communications here, you're speaking your truth and learning how to make those healthy choices. So you're resonating with certain diets, and you're resonating with certain principles like that. Saying you're trusting in the greater good. Saying. So now we're at the heart energy center, and here in the heart is abundance. It's the feeling energy. So let's put our awareness into this heart. One of the most important organs in your body, one of the most important energy center in your etheric body. Remember, a lot of these energy centers superimpose a organ in your physical body, right? This is one of the most important, because it is the access. What we learn in Sufi, Gupt. The Gupt is the heart, the axis of it all. This is where abundance come in. Love, when I say caring, your love, sense of beauty, a sense of joy, harmony, an abundance of harmony, or an abundance, and also nourishment and maternity. You notice maternity, very important. And it doesn't mean that you have to be a female in order to recognize or to exhibit a maternal sense of vibe. No, you can, like me, like I'm a grandfather. I have to nurture, sometimes my daughter's work, I have to nurture a newborn. I have to nurture a 6 months, well, she's 8 months now. But it's a lot of caring and loving and nurturing and playing. It's an abundance. It's there. This is where abundance is at. This is where you gain a lot of abundance in terms of that. Your ability to give and receive love. It's here in this energy center. It's the center of it all. That ability to harness that caring for your body, that caring for those around you. You're developing forgiveness and compassion. Now, if you look at the word compassion, this is interesting. When you look at the word compassion, you see the word compass. And you know what a compass is? That little device with the magnetism of the North Pole and the South Pole. You know what I'm saying? But the compass is taking that magnetic from the north and the south, and it's resonating. It's what do you call it? It's balancing itself, right? That's the compass. Which move more to the north or to the south, so you're able to find your way through compassion. I just find it very interesting how, the word compass is in compassion. And remember, passion is a purpose with reason. When you have a purpose and you have reason to have this purpose, that's where you create your passion. And, there's a lot of music, so you're opening, expanding, you're balancing, you're releasing attachment to old wounds. This is what I tell a lot of, even those that are dear to me, and those, like family and stuff. And I tell them, man, you got to deal with those wounds, because we're traumatized. We grew up, and a lot of things happen in our lives that I created these wounds. You got to address those wounds. You got to look into your shadow self and see what wounds are there. The heart energy center casts, you see, you can love and care. It casts in the moon energy, it casts an energy, what we call an attribute of grief. Grief, and let me tell you something, like I said, it's part of natural nature, grief. Because you could love someone so much, but if you lose them, you create a grief. You know what I'm saying? That's why there's some certain practices, some cultures address the loss of death in a family differently because they know the effect that it's going to have on your shadow self, on that person. You know what I'm saying? So you could be in love with a person, suddenly things go wrong and they leave that loss, that sense of loss, you know. And I'm gonna show you and I'm gonna tell you how to balance that because this is the center where it's abundance. So let's say you were in a relationship and you got children, right? And you got grandchildren. But the mother, the mate, who you were referring, and you had these children with, she's gone. She doesn't either she don't want to deal with you no more, or let's say she passed away or whatever, you know what I'm saying? They're just gone. That could shift to grievance, but not to balance that, you have to think of the abundance of what was left, the abundance that was created. I have 4 children. I have 4 grandchildren. I look at the abundance. You can get caught in your sorrow at times, or resentment, right? And that grief, that sense of loss. But you can balance it with abundance. You got to look at it like, wow, I have this abundance of caring, the forgiveness. I have this abundance of children, life, you know, is sprouted from this union that I, you know, even though I lost that person, I still have this. The person lives in that abundance. That's how this heart energy center works, you know, you know. That's very, very important. Even you know, like I said, it's natural to have a sense of loss, have resentment, it's or that deep sorrow. You know what I'm saying? Certain industry uses that because they amplify the shadow self, that grief, and you get songs and you get, you know, lyrics to music and stuff like that. Because remember, this is the energy center too, where music is harmony. It's harness that. So look at the abundance. Don't try to look at the loss or the sorrow. Take a look at the abundance. It's always going to be there, that shadow, that light. But when you become creative, create, feel your creativity, feel the abundance in your life. There's so much happening in the world today. So much happening. It can put us at the sense of sorrow, sense of resentment, lost. But we can't operate like that. You're not going to grow. You're not going to expand the heart. And that's what I'm going to bring up, because the heart is so important that, you see, it doesn't have as much nuance as your brain and your gut. You got three organs that send energies that have neurons. Let me bring it up. Very, very important. Because neurons, again, these electromagnetic forces, the electricity in your body, it's what creates these neurons that makes you move your body, makes your heart pump and everything. So the heart, one of the most important organs of the human body. We know that. There's nearly 2 billion muscle cells and 4,000 neurons in the heart. Heart neurons are very few in numbers compared to those in the brain. We know that. 100 billion, or the gut, or 1 billion. Nevertheless, excuse me 1 second. Nevertheless, these neurons transmit the heart signal and condition to the brain. So your heart, these neurons, is in communication with your brain. That's how important it is. So it can affect your thinking, your ideas, your thinking. If your heart ain't right, your thinking ain't gonna be right. You know that because of the relationship, and also your gut. So there are many instances of people, they experience this extrasensory perception after their colon cleansing has taken place. You know that? And the extrasensory perception, they're they're clear in mind, because when you clear out the gut, and you clear out and you have a colon cleansing, you know, what it does, it frees up these neurons from the gut, communicate to the heart, and communicate to the mind. And so you have extrasensory perception gets up height. You know what I'm saying? And besides electrical signaling, well, anyway, so the heart mind interaction takes place both electrical signals, there's electrical signals via the vagus, which is the vagus nerves, and the spinal cord nerves, and through chemicals. Our body is a body of chemistry. Our body is a body of electricity. Light. This light formed particles, neurons, particles in our body. It created electricity. And all of that can be connected to the source. You know that, the sun. So it's good to get that sunlight in. And also that's where melanin comes in, beta endorphins, and the light and the heat in your body. It's all related to the sun. So the heart, it's like, has all these neurons, these electrical charges, man. Besides electrical signaling, the heart also releases peptides. So, but that's going into, we don't want to go too much into the chemistry part. Maybe for another time we can do a podcast on each chemicals. Maybe we should do it when we do the food, the different herbs that help these energy center. I'm sorry, my tablet over here keeps going on and off. I don't know what's going on with the internet here. I need probably to call up and see if this thing. So, the point of interest is the rhythm patterns of the heart signals to the brain, and that they are only understood by it, but also obeyed. No, so yeah, scientists studies have shown that the heart sends signals to the brain that only is understood by the brain, but also it's obeyed. So scientists have discovered neural pathways and mechanisms whereby inputs from the heart to the brain inhibit and facilitate the brain's electrical activity, just as the gut is capable of doing. So you got three important things. You got the brain, you got the heart, and you got the gut. It's electrical, and there's so much neurons in there, which is electrical impulses that communicates back and forth. You know what I'm saying? That's important. The heart is. The speed of a heartbeat and its contraction changes depending upon our emotions. Very important, the contraction of the heart and the emotions. So, result when 2 billion muscle cells are triggered by AV or CA nodes. But that's going into a little bit of electrical. So the speed, so how important is that? There's so much breathing exercise that can help stimulate the vagus nerve. So, but we'll get into that some other time when we start going into the organs and start actually, we can do exercises live, because I will have to do those exercises myself. You know what I'm saying? And very, very important. But in terms of just like speaking, putting our awareness to this energy center, which is the heart energy center, the axis. And I call it the axis because remember how your star energy center reciprocal is your earth energy center, and it goes back and forth like this. And then your crown with your sacral, your crown with your root energy center. Your third eye, your pineal gland, also connected to your sacral center, right? Which is pain and pleasure, your sex and pleasure. Then you have your throat, which is solar plexus, which is will. But the heart is at the center of it all. Your heart is where the energy from the sun is filtered in, and you grab this filter in, but it settles in the heart. It settles in the heart. The brain would take some of these neurons, the heart would take the neuron, and then it goes down to the gut. This energy that we're speaking about, the electromagnetic spectrum of forces, these gamma rays and these ultraviolet lights, all the lights. That's the reason why you see the spectrum of light, the red, orange, yellow, green, right? Blue, indigo, and violet, and white, clear white, and the earth back down black. So you see in the middle, you see in the spectrum all these colors that are frequencies, vibrations coming from the sun. We're caught up in that, but then you have the ultraviolet light, which is the black light, right? And you have gamma ray, you have infrared, and so on, so on, so. A lot of times we don't see infrared, but if you close your eyes in the sun, you see a lot of the red. That's infrared getting through to your optic nerve. You know what I'm saying? When we deal with the black light, again, remember, we're shining with black light. It's like exposing those specks and stains, which is in the shadow, hidden in the shadows. You know what I'm saying? We expose that. And so we have that capability when we start harnessing these light. We have the gamma ray vibration. You know what I'm saying? So it's so important to stand and reason, understand this heart energy center. You know what I'm saying? So there's so much we can go into this actual you know, pretty soon I'm going to be able to share my PowerPoint. I want to share some screens and share some content, sources. The energy center is a part of human nature, part of our natural nature, because it creates that aura. It's an electrical body that we have. So you have an electrical body that's sort of like powering this physical body. This Sunday, I'm going to talk about it, how in the biblical narrative speaks about this, speaks about that, Etheric realms is your heaven realm. The etheric realm is your body realm. It's the electrical body that you have that interacts with the multiverse. It interacts with the multiverse because it's gaining energy, just like the sun gains energy from the other constellations. The solar system, it gains like a placenta. It gains all this electromagnetic, and then it filters it down. It spreads out with this corona. It spreads out. You know what I'm saying? It creates rings, and it's that we can go into that. But I like to do that with actual physical, virtual graphics. You know what I'm saying? And offer that to you. You know what I'm saying? But I demand that everybody's doing well. Again, I'm having a wonderful experiences. I gotta gain a little more weight. I know that. But I don't know. Maybe it's harnessing this energy, constantly is I lost a lot of muscle mass, so I'm trying to work out getting that little muscle mass back. And so, but we'll get into that when we start talking about the solar plexus. You know what I'm saying? Because the solar plexus is where all of this energy is harnessed at. But right now with the heart, man, um, this abundance that we have, right? Acknowledge it, receive it. It's yours. This abundance is everywhere. It's yours. Abundance of neutrinos, right? Abundance of particles. I mean, because the abundance of atoms, if you want, abundance of cells, if you want to look at it like that. Go deep, go into that, into imagination and creativity, and you can imagine what you want to imagine. But there's an abundance. You got to really look at that, and again, balance it, look, accept, look at the grief, look at the deep sorrow you have, the loss that you know, whatever, and then counteract it. Look at the abundance that union gave you. Look at the abundance all around you. But, aside from this sorrow and this thing that's going on, you know what I'm saying? Because I could be they say the more you know and the more you connected and the more you enlightenment, the more sorrow you're going to experience, because you're like, wow, how much did I not know, right? And man, it's out there. We just have to open up our minds and see it, So imagine this abundance that we have, that a lot of times, because we get caught up in the shadow self and a civilization like this, which amplify that loss and that sorrow, amplifies that, because that's how they make, they want to create a scarcity of your light self or your lightened self and keep you at the shadow, because they manipulate the shadows. You got people that do that and know how to manipulate the shadows. Guanabana juice, salsa. So be aware of that. And this can happen, again, in certain churches. Certain churches, they'll appeal to your heart, your sorrow, your resentment, this deep pain, all this loss, and then that's how they get you. They manipulate this in you, deter you from your enlightened self and your light self, or not even the enlightened self, which is the abundance. They create the creativity of the abundance. They deter you away from that. And I don't know, it was something to do it on purpose. That's what they manipulate the shadow. To me, that's not real. Because the moon, has a light, but it's getting its light from the sun. It doesn't it doesn't enlighten itself. It doesn't have an inner litten that lights up. No, it's getting its light from the sun. So that, in a way, is casting an illusion. Even though the moon is important, but it's casting an illusion, and we have to recognize that. And that's moon energy, is the grief. And like I said, certain people appeal to your sense of loss and your sense of resentment. They play on that. You know what I'm saying? Amplify that. Be careful, people that do that. Be careful. Even though some people do it because they don't know better. They're trying to get to know you. They're trying to get in your pants. They're trying to do whatever. You know what I'm saying? This is a way of people manipulating other people. But damn it, be for real. I like to be for real with people, and I like to create that abundance. If we're going to be in the same circle, let's see what kind of abundance we have, what we can generate here, what creativity can we generate. So even in your own household, you sit down with your children and look, we got an abundance here. There is an abundance here. Let's get together and let's harness that. Let's acknowledge it. Let's harness and let's work so that you don't get stuck in one way. you can grow, grow, and grow. You know what I'm saying? There's so much more to do. I'm having a wonderful experience, yet there is so much more to do. Can you believe it? So much more to do. So anyway, that's all that I wanted to speak about. You know what I'm saying? And that's the heart energy center. Very important. That's the axis. That is the center of all your light being, your etheric being, your electrical self. And that's also at the center of your body. That's the center of it all. Is that energy which we call the heart energy center. The earth has a heart. The sun has a heart. This is a very powerful, we can go into another realm with this. But that's for another podcast. When we start getting into the heart of the earth. What's giving this electrical in buoyancy, or what's connecting with the source, which is the sun, and the heart of the constant. Imagine the heart of it all, of the constellations. Whew. I guess deep. Anyway, peace and blessing. I love you all. Dan Sihibui. In Taino, Dan Sihibui. I love you. Ashuk in Sabian, and also in Arabic. Ashuk means etheric love, higher love. You know what I'm saying? But one thing real quick I want to say is that you have a heart energy center has two heart. It has two directions. You have the one that faces towards the higher self, the one that faces or leans more to the lower self. As we talk about compassion, the compass, the poles of this heart. You got the one that pulls you to a higher source and the one that pulls you to a lower. And it's not to say one is better than the other. It's not to say that one is evil, one is good. No, that's not in this conversation at all. I don't ascribe to that at all. At all. It's energy, it's balance, and it's to be used in all facets of your life. Okay? Peace. I'll leave it there.